What's going on, Brews? Welcome to Hottest Cards of the Week, the weekly series where every Friday night we review the hottest modern Pokemon cards of the week. This is a very special episode. This is the end of the month special, the final Friday, which basically means it'll be like an hour-long episode. I'm going to do the regular structure that I always do, work our way from Crown Zenith all the way through the Scarlet and Violet era, do a whole bunch of promos, the SV, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, all of them. And then at the very, very, very end, we're going to look at Celebrations, Hidden Fates, Cosmic Eclipse, and Team Up, just to get a little refresher on what's going on with those very popular mid-modern sets. And no ridiculous, silly, or just unnecessary intro this week. However, I'm going to show you something that I have been doing for the last 2 years straight, several times a week, that I did again twice this week, including just a couple hours ago, which is how I go about acquiring really minty illustration rares versus a bunch of crappy ones. So basically right here, this is me sorting through, sifting through numerous copies of illustration rares until I find just the ones I want. Because yeah, pop reports, we all know don't matter anymore, right, with modern, but I think a lot of us wish they did. Welcome to illustration rares. Yeah, pop reports are about to start mattering again, big time, guys. But yeah, so more on that next week, and let's get to it. Alright, let's do this. For Crown Zenith, I wrote holding values across the board, for the most part, holding values, holding their new established crazy values. And then I wrote Oricorio and Darkrai V-Star. So for Darkrai V-Star, we can look right here. What do we got for Darkrai V-Star? Darkrai V-Star has a busted 90-day chart. But on the 1 month, Darkrai V-Star is up 20%, 19% from $31. Let's go ahead and see if the 6 month, there you go. So as you can see, I'm bringing up Darkrai V-Star because it had a high of 36, and right now it's at a high of 37. That is an all-time high for Darkrai V-Star. And then Oricorio, the yellow border, on the second page. We're going to have to go to page 2. By the way, Deoxys VMAX is still holding over 41. But then, by the way, Deoxys V-Star is up to 22. It was like that last week. But yeah, just both the Deoxys, want to throw that up there. Are both going up. The Mew is still at 22 right there, as you can see. But we're going to go to page 2 here real quick and look at Oricorio, and then we're already going to get to Scarlet and Violet base set here in a minute. So Latias, you see there at 10 bucks. Lapras, we already knew, was at 8 bucks, but here we go. So look at that, Oricorio at $9.40. We're going to go ahead and look at this. So for Oricorio, we're just going to keep it on the 3 month chart, and that's it. So you can see that it is up 1,063%, up from essentially what looks like $0.00. Up from 70 cents. No, 62 cents, guys. This was a 62-cent card. In basically December, this was a 62-cent card, and this is now an $8.26 card off of a 530 item buyout. 530 items sold. So somebody spent like $400. 500. So they spent like $400 to buy out Oricorio. That's very interesting. Alright, let's just get right into SV base. Because yeah, it was just Darkrai, Oricorio, and everything else is holding. SV base, what did I write? Alright, Slowpoke, Starly, Tarantula. We got the Starly is a buyout. The Tarantula is a buyout. The Wiglet and the Mabastiff are normal. So first let's look at Slowpoke. Slowpoke's up to $40 right here. You already know what all these half pipe charts look like. It's a half pipe chart. Slowpoke is at $40.88. I believe that's slightly off its all-time high. Starly and Tarantula. So we're going to go down here to Starly real quick at $15. And Tarantula, which is going to be right under it, at $12.59. Both of these have been bought out egregiously in the last few days. Expect almost every single Scarlet and Violet base set illustration rare to experience some form of buyout, whether it be yesterday, today, tomorrow. Basically, it has a lot to do with this going down as one of the worst printed sets in like Pokemon card history, and more people are going to realize that as people like me talk about it. But yeah, so basically all the cheap IRs have insanely difficult Gem rates, the white, any IR you see that's from the earlier parts of the era that has a blue sky, a light sky, any kind of sky or blue or white is going to have massive print line issues, and it's going to have a ridiculously low PSA 10 pop report, okay? So basically, expect anything illustration rare from Scarlet and Violet, even if it hasn't already, to double in price in the next week or two just based off of buyouts alone. However, the Wiglet and the Mabostiff, they don't look so bad. So we'll take a look at Wiglet. So this is your 90-day chart for Wiglet, and it's a $3 card, you know, up 167% to 1120. But the volume bars are what we're really paying attention to, and we see a couple little, you know, some aggressive Timmy action. We do not actually see like mass buyout stuff. And if you look leading, like the 90-day chart showing a smooth transgression of volume bars is about as healthy as you're gonna see a Pokemon card in this scenario. Okay, and then so also we're gonna look at Mabostiff, which, where did Mabostiff go? Mabostiff should be right there, $8.48. So here we go. So this is, again, a 90-day for Mabostiff. This is the $2 IR, not even a $4, a $2 IR, okay, in December. $2. This is what's making people pull their hair out, is the fact that they could have master setted probably every illustration rare in the entire era in December for 1/5 what it's costing nowadays. So we hit a high of 9, we're down to 8. That was for Mabostiff. I believe from base set, that was the last one we're going to look at, so we're going to actually get right into Paldea. So Paldea Magikarp is at an all-time high. Chi-Yu EX SIR, not at an all-time high, but it's up big on the week. Same with Tinkatuff EX SIR, so we're going to look at 2 SIRs right now. So first of all, Magikarp at 276. Again, imagine another, you know, a half pipe, but only like on the year chart, not the 1 month chart. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it's a broken half pipe. But yeah, so there's Magikarp, and again, this is the 1 year chart. See it hit that 150, drop down to 110. Now we're at 276. And I did just have a hot takes and predictions video yesterday that I posted. One of those hot takes was Magikarp becoming a $300 card here pretty shortly. So honestly, why not? Alright, so Chi-Yu and Tinkatuff. So Chi-Yu is at $31.62, as you see right here. Chi-Yu has a high of like about 38 to 40 about a year ago, literally. Tinkaton, this is an all-time high for Tinkaton EX. Tinkaton EX was a $15 to $20 card for its existence up until recently. There is your Tinkatuff EX SIR, up 87% on the 1 year. How much is it up on the 1 month? It is up 20% on the 1 month. Tinkaton, have I been saying Tinkaton EX or Tinkatuff? I don't know. But yeah, the SIR, Tinkatuff. Pardon me, what the hell? And then we got a lot more actually, guys. So we got Paldean Wooper, we got Pyroar, Tinkatuff, Paldean Tauros, Crocolar, and Bramblin. Okay. Here we go. So Paldean Wooper is almost $20. I have stated in the past, I think this is one of the ugliest IRs in the entire era. It's one of the only IRs I actually think is ugly, but it's a $20 IR now, apparently. Pyroar at $15 is an all-time high for Pyroar. And I think on page 2, I said Paldean Tauros, Crocolar, and Bramblin. Yeah. So let's look over here. So Tinkatuff at 14, that's an all-time high. Crocolar at 14, that's an all-time high. Paldean Tauros at 14, that's an all-time high. Bramblin, where you at, Bramblin? Farigiraf at $10, that's very close to its all-time high. Could be. But Bramblin at 962. Rookidee at 882. Tropius at 838. Gothorita? I believe these are all actually all-time highs as well. Just by a little bit. Like they were 6 or 7, 5. Now they're up to 7 and 8. There you go. Let's go to Obsidian Lanes. So Obsidian Lanes, Gloom Pidgeot EX SIR. So we got a Pidgeot, and then we got a Pidgey IR. Bellybowl IR, and what? I wrote Reveroom EX SIR. That card's supposed to be $1.50 even though it's an SIR. Alright, so let's take a look. First of all, Pidgeot EX SIR is up to $16.42. Let's go to the 1 year because I'm curious to see. Yeah, so that is at least a 1 year high, and I do not remember it being this much on release either. So I think this is an all-time high for the Pidgeot EX SIR. I know it spent most of its time between $8 and $12. I can tell you that much. And we're going to go ahead and look at Gloom. Gloom's at an all-time high, essentially at 1864 right there. But Belly Bolt and Reverum, we definitely want to look at Belly Bolt. Belly Bolt's up to $7.42. For a very long time, this is one of the cheapest IRs in the entire era for a very, very long time. So $2, up 336%. There's Belly Bolt up to $7.78. And then now we are going to look at Reverum EX SIR, which is right here at $5. Wow. $5.55 for Reverum. Look at that. So that must mean a lot. Well, 64% on a 30-day chart for an SIR. That's pretty darn good. So Reverum's up 64%. You can see all of Reverum's value is in the last 30 days, basically. There you go, Revy boy. Rev. Alright, let's get to 151, because 151, literally every single card, I think, is at an all-time high. Literally. So, okay, so 151. We got Chonky Boy at an all-time high at 286. We have Blasty Boy at an all-time high at 89. We have, I'm just going to say Venusaur. Venusaur at 88. Look at this. Charmander's at $72, guys. The Charmander illustration rare is at $72. How many Charmander illustration rares between Charmander promos, PC promos, illustration? There's a lot of Charmanders, I feel like. And they're all worth a lot of money now. So there you go. There's the Charmander chart. You can actually not see a lot of recent egregious volume either. Like, there's less volume while it's shooting up. It's interesting. I'd look at the sales, but this is going to go long. If this was on a shorter video, we would look into the sales, to be honest. But I'm not going to. Just to save a little time. But, seriously, as we go down this list, you're going to see every single card from Zapdos, Squirtle, Alakazam, Bulbasaur, Charmeleon at almost $50. Charizard EX Full Art has barely been at $45 once or twice before. But Pikachu EX, $42. That is absolutely an all-time high. Same with Wartortle. Ivysaur is at an all-time high. Poliwhirl is at $24. That is an all-time high. Psyduck is right at its all-time high. The Full Arts, the Mew, the Blastoise, the Venusaur, yeah, they're up to, they're right at their all-time highs. They're not way above them. Ninetales is back up to its all-time high. Ninetales about 6 or 7 months ago got up to $15. It went all the way back down to 10. Now it's back up to $15. Machoke is at an all-time high. Just know everything from 151 is holding and growing and adding to its current all-time highs across the board this week, which last week, that was not even the case. I think I brought up 1 or 2, like 151 cards last week. So the fact that these are all in tandem, all at their all-time highs, I'm just going to, name this week's episode something about 151, because that's... I do this every week, and I don't see this many 151 cards up this hard all at once. Okay, let's go to Paradox. Paradox wrote Altaria, Yveltal, Ironmoth, Loudred, all page 2 IRs, and Mashhold and Goldango Full Arts. Okay, so Altaria, $68, is holding its newfound pumped value very, very well. Go and take a look at this. There's on your 3-month chart, it's up, 100%, up to $67. And I see 62 items purchased when it was at $51 that helped prop it up. But now I'm seeing still a fairly good amount of purchases at 67. There's 16 items sold here at 68, basically. I would anticipate Altaria EX holding around this value for sure. I don't really see a lot of Paradox Rift cards crashing in value just in general, to be honest. Okay, so all page 2 IR. So Iron Moth, look at that. Iron Moth is $26. This was a $3 IR a month ago. We already talked about the Candy Shop Morpeko last week. We talked about Brew Bonnet last week. Mantike has been just slowly losing 50 cents per week since it got pumped up to like $22. Swablu's just barely holding on to 20. Magby's still at 18. So Loudred was one of the newer ones this week to be at an all-time high, $13.52 for the Loud Boy. And let's look at page 2, because page 2 has some interesting full arts, and all the cheaper IRs are up. So here we go. Gimme Ghoul at $12.68, Porygon Z at $12.57, Apom at $12.32, Mian Chao at $11, even Slitherwing at $10.87. I love Slitherwing. Toadscruel's a $10 IR now. Toadscruel. Espathra's a $10 IR. Aegislash is essentially a $10 IR. Snowrunt, $10 IR. Blitzel, $8.36. Veluza, $8.16. Even Wimpod's $8. But then Moshold EX, this full art has gone up and down in the past, even when no full arts were going up and down, except for 151 full arts. So Moshold, if you are, maybe illustration rares are getting too rich for your blood, so you're starting to look for cheaper full arts to maybe make some grading plays on later down the road. You know, Moshold has been a popular one. I've seen Moshold go up and down a lot. Same with the Goldango, although I will say Goldango full art is much more related to playability. Although I do like this Goldango full art. Probably won't be the worst card if you're looking for full arts to grade. But yeah. So, and I'm keeping look for full arts more and more, to be honest. So, and there are some more full arts in today's video. All right, let's get out of here. Let's go to the Fates of Paldea. Okay, so the Fates of Paldea, I wrote show Mew full art. Okay, apparently there you go. I'm going to talk about the Mew full art. But Snorlax, Mimikyu, Ditto, Lucario, Raichu, and Luxray. So 6 total baby shinies. And so first of all, Mew EX, Charizard EX, Gardevoir EX, all 3 of these are down a little. I would say they're all down like 5% off their highs, literally. 5 to 10% off their highs. Like Charizard hit 220, it's down, yeah. They're all down 5 to 10% off their highs. But Baby Shiny Pikachu at $45, Snorlax at $24, Mimikyu at $16, Ditto at $15, Lucario at almost $10 for the first time ever. Raichu's been as high as 7 or 8. I don't think I've ever seen Raichu at 9. Luxray, maybe at release, was up to 7 or 8, but it's now 9. NT has always been a $7 to $9 Baby Shiny, so that's where it stops. So Luxray, Raichu, Lucario, Ditto, Mimikyu. Charmeleon's been around here before, but I guess you can throw Charmeleon in there. Charmander's been a $30 Baby Shiny before, so it's just coming back. But it truly is the Snorlax, the Mimikyu, and the Ditto. These 3 over the last month have been prevalently going up in price quite a bit. But we're going to look at the Mew full art, because I think if we look at the 1-year Mew full art, kind of just shows you how full arts have been doing over the last year. So this Mew full art came out at $6, which is actually pretty good for a full art from a SV set on release. But it's just slowly but surely and gradually increased in value and decreased in volume. So increase in value, decrease in volume. Expect this beautiful Mew full art from Paldean Fates to 1, hold its value, and 2, be a solid graded play in the future. As far as if you are looking for full arts to grade, there's another good full art to grade, is the shiny Mew. Alright, let's go to Portal Forces. Portal Forces, I wrote Ghastly, Gouging Fire EX, Metagross, Shiftry, Drampa, and then apparently I wanted to talk about Cypher Maniac code breaking, even though it's not up on the week. Ghastly is, though. Ghastly's up to $58.83. Go down there. On the 3-month chart, Ghastly is up almost 100%. Show you the 1 month real quick. On the 1 month, Ghastly had a low of $47 on February 11th, hit a high of $58 just today. Well, yesterday or today, whatever. Basically $60. So there you go, Ghastly. Good for you, Ghastly. And what else? Drampa, Metagross. Oh, Gouging Fire is up big. So look at this. Gouging Fire has usually been struggling along with Iron Leaves a little bit. But now all of a sudden Gouging Fire is $52. So that kind of happened, I feel. Go and take a look right here. So it's only up 3% on the 1 month, but 2 weeks ago, okay, it was already up to 50, 52. Maybe I just totally missed Gouging Fire just in general. Yeah, I might have just struck out with Gouging Fire. It's not a hottest cards of the week. I guess I was shocked that it was over $50. I thought it was going to be at like $42 or $45. Morty at 56. We already talked about Morty. So Metagross, this really went up the day after hottest cards of the week last week, like over the weekend. I did talk about it, but it went up even higher. So it hit basically almost 40. Yeah, it hit 40 the day after last week's hottest cards of the week. And now it's just down just a little lower volume. I don't expect this one to crash too much though, do you? I think the snowy artwork, I don't know. It's Metagross. A lot of people love Metagross. Don't they? Yeah. Yeah. Alright, Drampa's at 12 bucks, or 14. Holy. I think Drampa might have went up even more since I opened this tab. I thought Drampa was at like $12.50. But instead, we got on the 1 month Drampa from $9.50 on January 31st up to $13.99, $14. This was not at $13.99 earlier when I opened this tab, I swear. Huh. But yeah, I guess, why did I just wanted to say something about Cypher Maniac code breaking. I'm probably just gonna hurry up and say it and then move on though. So basically, I just wanted to say that I love this card. I don't know why. Something about the light. I don't get a Bromeo vibe. I don't get a waifu vibe. I just get a bunch of light greens, light blues, and purples that all come together in a beautiful little trainer artwork. I don't know. I'm probably going to grade this card just because I just like it, regardless of value or anything. But some of these, you know, it's another full art. And I am going to show you another full art trainer that's going up in value similar to this. But yeah, I don't know. Some of these full arts, whether they're Bromeos or waifus or not, they'll look good in the slab. And I think Cypher Maniac code breaking is just one of those trainers you pull where you just kind of lift your eyebrow because it looks just a little cooler than usual. Where you're like, damn, this is a nice little full art. Anyway, I'm just throwing that out there. And again, there will be some other full arts in today's video. Alright, let's go to Twilight Gatorade. Twilight Gatorade, we got Greninja at an all-time high, which is at 408, as you can see there. Perrin is at an all-time high. It's almost Perrin and Hisuian Growlithe Perrin is almost pushing $100. Perrin's at 93. Carmine is also trying to catch up. These were both 68 and $69 3 weeks ago. So they're both up huge. Perrin and Carmine off their lows, which their lows were 3 weeks to a month ago. So they're doing very good. Carmine and Perrin both. Okay, and then we got Greninja EX Full Art, the one that PK, Pokemon Card Knowledge, has a million of. And then Hisuian Growlithe, Sunflora, Frostlass, and Timber. Okay, so here we go. Hisuian Growlithe. Oh, what? I swear this is even more expensive. Maybe not. $25 Hisuian Growlithe. Imagine a half-pipe looking graph, because again, screw it, I'll show you. Alright, here we go. So on the 30-day Hisuian Growlithe, I have so many tabs open that I'm trying not to go too hard on opening and closing a ton of tabs. Oh, actually, I think I can clean it or whatever. Alright, so Hisuian Growlithe, there you go, 25 bucks, up 76%, you know, connected artwork card. Pull it back to the 6th month, there you go, there's your almost little half-pipe look for you. There's a real nice half-pipe right there. $25 for this beautiful banger. Absolutely. And then Frostlass, Sunflora, and Timber. So we're going to have to go down a little farther. So look at this. Here's the Greninja EX Full Art that I was telling you guys PK has a bunch of that he's pumping. PK has what, like 50 of these? Someone write in the comment section. But yeah, so this is I think he actually tried to get his community to actually pump this card, and I think he actually... Isn't this when he... I think this is him. Because he had the live like 2 weeks ago, or a week ago, and he was telling people to pump the card. And then here we go. 123. This is 100% PK's fault. Pokemon card knowledge, or Pokemon knowledge cards, I always fucking forget. This is his fault. Blame him. Greninja full art. But again, I was going to say this would be a solid one to grade if you're looking for full arts to grade in the SV era, because you don't want to spend all this money on difficult to grade IRs. That's a good one to grade. I'm going to show you another one, a trainer from this set that is also a very good one to grade once we get down there. So we got to go to page 2 to find Frostlass and find Timber and Sunflora and the full art I was talking about. So there's Sunflora at $9.23 right there. Bang. There's Frostlass at $8.40. There's both all-time highs. There's Timber. There's your all-time high. Enamorous we talked about last week, actually. So here's two more good full arts. The Carmine full art. She is doing very well. I'm going to go straight to the 1 year because I already saw the chart was busted. There you go. So you see Carmine hit a low right there of $4.30, and that's as low as she ever got, which is very good, to be honest, at that time for full arts last year. But you can see she's done nothing but go up, and she's doubled in price. So there is a slow, rumbling building of appreciation for Scarlet and Violet full art cards, Pokemon and Trainer, that I have noticed that has been kind of boiling over the last 9 months specifically. I've just seen everything trending that way. Here's another good one to grade. I would say Iron Thorns EX. A lot of these full arts that maybe don't have SIRs or IRs yet, so all you have for your option is the full art. Like, for example, Black Kyurem from Surging Sparks. That is a card that would be almost #1 on my list to grade because of how cool it looks and how it doesn't have a better version yet. So just think things like Black Kyurem from Surging Sparks. Just those overly cool, embossed, awesome full arts. Just like the Charizard from 151. Those are the full arts that are going to look incredible in slabs. Absolutely. Okay, now let's go to Shredded Fumble. Okay, I wrote monkey, and it looked like literally all I wrote was monkey. I wrote monkey, elephant, pheasant, and yogi. So basically what I meant to say there is Monkey Dory IR, Pheasantipity IR. Oh, it's going to be on the next page. So yeah, Monkey Dory, Pheasantipity, Okie Dokie, and Cufant. Cufant was the elephant. So those 4 IRs are up. Oh, there's Cufant. Cufant at 1252, that's an all-time high for Cufant. Monkey at 22, that's an all-time high for Monkey. Then Pheasantipity and Okie Dokie. Yeah, they're on page 2. Go and check those out real quick. Oh. So there they are right there. 960 and 948, both of those are all-time highs. Tapu Bulu is still struggling at that $6 mark. I actually think Kingdra would be a great full art. I mean, it's Shredded Fumble, so there's not a lot of full art. Well, maybe not. Just from a fan favorite Pokemon full art, I think Kingdra wouldn't be too bad. But it's a $2 full art, you know. All right, let's go to that Stellar Not So Frown. I'm actually excited. I'm excited about Stellar Crown because we're only going to talk about 2 cards. One of them is one of my favorite IRs. So for Stellar Crown, we're going to talk about Meditite and Gulpin. Meditite being one of my favorite IRs. Gulpin, oh my ass. Oh my ass. My legs asleep. Oh, I'm going to be here for, we're going to be here for a while. Meditite. Let me show you Meditite real quick. So Meditite's at $7.38. The reason I love Meditite is because it's one of those layered imagery cards where it almost looks like 3 pieces of paper layered on top of each other, where the closest piece of paper is like in your face and it layered. So basically what I'm saying is, anyone who owns this card, you already know what I'm talking about. The Meditite himself and these ivies that he's on. That's the first layer. When you look at the card, that is right up on your face. That is layer 1. That is super bold, super prominent. The second layer is specifically the trees and the Chatot. So you have this very bold, almost embossed Meditite hanging on the vines, and then your eyes next go to the trees and the Chatot. And then the third layer all the way in the back, and you could literally see the layers almost layered on top of each other, is the waterfall in like the ravine, you know, the valley down below with the river. So all I'm saying is when you look at this Chatot and you get the, you know, you look at it at an angle, you get it to do its thing, you can very quickly appreciate the 3-layer kind of behavior that this artwork kind of vibes with Meditite, then the trees and Chatot, then the waterfall in the background. It is a very apparent kind of effect on this artwork. And in my top 20 favorite illustration rare videos, this probably would have been number 21. If it didn't make the list, it was definitely an honorable mention. And I have thought that since this card was like $2.50, because I just remember being like, dude, this is the coolest $2.50 Pokemon card I've ever looked at. And I just loved letting my eyes bounce between those 3 layers. I think it's very cool. No matter how many IRs I own, no matter how many I grade, no matter what you think, I will always appreciate beautiful illustration rares regardless of their price, first and foremost. And this used to be $2 Meditite. I don't know. I just always loved the hell out of it. Alright, and then Gulpin. Sorry, I just spent a lot of time on Meditite IR. You know, whatever. Gulpin. So Gulpin's at 9, almost $10, you know, whatever. Gulpin is Gulpin. Okay. So we're going to move on to Splurging Sparks. Splurging Sparks. 2 of my favorite Searching Sparks IRs are up. Alright, so I wrote Slackoth, Bravery, Melodic, Full Art. There's another one for grading possibilities would be Melodic. And the Latios. But, yeah, okay, so let's look at Slackoth and Bravery? Yeah, Braviary. Slackoth is almost $16. Braviary is $14. It was a month ago. This was on my favorite IR list, and it was $4.50. Sheesh. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about Shiinotic, Black Kyurem, Hydreigon EX. Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's go to page 2. This set, by the way, Surging Sparks, which you didn't even see my Surging Sparks master set in my illustration rare video. There's over 100 illustration rares that I own that didn't even make it into that video. Because we had my Surging Sparks, Stellar Crown, Shredded Fumble master sets I didn't even show. And I own more extra copies of Surging Sparks IRs than any other set. And that is strictly due to the degeneracy I experienced during Surging Sparks. And yet, I still went out and bought more Surging Sparks IRs, even though I pulled a bunch, because the ones I pulled weren't that great. Where's that? Okay, so Melodic, Full Art, Banger Full Art, Melodic EX, $9. Okay, but that's not the one I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about Hydreigon EX for the diamond shiny head thingies. This is a fantastic idea to grade IR, or Full Art in my opinion. I just love this Hydreigon EX. I also love the Flygon, but the Black Kyurem. Oh, and the Shiinotic. The Shiinotic is the best. Maybe not from a grading, flipping, make you a bunch of money down the road, but if you just want a cool IR for under $5, you're running out of IRs to choose from. Shiinotic is so cool. It's just so much different from any other IR. The black and purple. There are no other black and purple and green illustration rares in this era. So somebody needs to start appreciating that and give Shiinotic a little love. But anyway, Black Kyurem, this full art is absolutely a grade potential play. Black Kyurem because there's no other Black Kyurem cards really other than some bulk in this era. And how freaking cool does that full art look? Are you kidding me? Alright, so now let's go to this one. Yeah, this one. So, in Prismatic Problematic Evolutions, it's Espeon is up huge. Flareon is up huge. I remember covering this card the first week and it was 220. Now it's 380. Yeah, it was 220. So yeah, Glaceon, Jolteon. So Glaceon right there. Jolteon up very well. But here we go, Cerulege and Roaring Moon EX. It was literally 2 weeks ago. I told you guys don't worry, Cerulege and Roaring Moon were absolutely going to pass EVGX. Obviously, Cerulege already has. It's got a comfortable lead. Next week, I'll be telling you about how Roaring Moon also passed up EVGX. And this is a matter of OP versus Light P. So this is an OP card. This is an OP card. This is a not OP version of a popular Pokemon. So this is a very popular Pokemon, and this is a very cool looking card for the popular Pokemon. Roaring Moon is a very popular Pokemon, and this is a very popular artist and a very popular artwork. This Eevee is a very popular just Eevee. This is not a popular artwork at all, period. Nobody likes this card, and if they do, they are few and far between. That is why Shinji Kanda and Cerulege over here are going to just destroy this Eevee over time. You can't just have things be valuable just because. People need to actually like it and want to pay for it. There's not a lot of people that want to pay $220 for this Eevee. There's a ton of people that want to pay $200 for the Cerulege in the Roaring Moon. That's just the way it is. Okay. Alright. Okay. Alright. Okay. Here we go. Alt art, trainer galleries, PC ETB promos, Scarlet and Violet promos, Sword and Shield promos, X and Y promos, Sun and Moon promos, celebrations, Hidden Fates, Cosmic Eclipse, Team Up, and then we're done. Holy shit. Okay. Nice thing is for alt arts, it's the exact same screen I was looking at last week. The only thing that made me even raise an eyebrow was Duraludon VMAX is somehow even cheaper. The amount of the sheer disrespect that Duraludon VMAX gets is almost appalling. Like Duraludon, this is an alt art secret rare. This is a VMAX. This isn't even a V. And this in the middle of one of the probably the biggest bubble in Pokemon card history. Evolving Skies is one of the most popular sets in Pokemon card history. The alt art rarity tier is exceptionally popular. Duraludon VMAX is going down in price. The disrespect is so real. Alright, let's go. Let's go to the V's. Lugia, Dragonite, T-Tar, and Leafeon. Lugia is comfortably over 300 now, which it just for the first time ever hit 300 last week. Dragonite V is now $200, comfortably over 200. We talked about Giratina cracking 700 last week. Charizard heard me talking shit about him, so he's trying to stay over 200. But either way, T-Tar now is way above Charizard. Rayquaza is, I guess, Charizard just for a minute. I wouldn't be surprised Rayquaza just... I don't know. Rayquaza V, Charizard V. I mean, who knows what's going to happen with these Vs? Because we just had T-Tar fly right by Charizard. And I already told you a week or two ago I wouldn't be surprised if Galarian Moltres does too. Galarian Moltres is $10 closer. Machamp is still at 160 at least. But yeah, it's basically you know, Lugia V at 305 is incredible. And then yeah, you're just adding $10 or $20 to Dragonite V, to Tyranitar V. And other than that, yeah, Umbreon V is at an all-time high, but not up that much more. Up another $10 it looks like. Alright, let's just get to the trainer galleries. So trainer galleries are out Blazikens, Pikachu, Serperior, Galarian, or Moltres, Zekrom, Blissey, and then all the cheaper TGs are just essentially all establishing higher lows, like as their base, however cheap they are now is like twice as much as however cheap they used to be. Is essentially what they are reestablishing. So let's look real quick at the Blazikens, because they're up just a little bit more. Blaziken, oh weird, Blaziken V passed the VMAX. So Blaziken V 2753, it's up a couple bucks from last week. Same with Blaziken VMAX, up a couple bucks from last week. The Pikachu? I thought the Pikachu. Yeah, Pikachu is up just a little bit more. Superior is up an extra $1 at $18. Superior V is almost a $20 card now. What the heck? Then we got Zekrom and Blissey and Moltres. So Moltres is 18, that's an all-time high. Zekrom at almost 14, that's up just an extra couple of bucks from last week, but that is also an all-time high. What? Where'd you at? I thought Blissey was here. I guess Blissey's gonna be the first card on page 2. What? Where'd Blissey go? Did I miss Blissey? Alright, we're going back to page 1. Am I crazy? Am I crazy? What happened? Where's Blissey? Oh, I'm blind. I'm blind. Am I blind or did something happen? Was that there a second ago? I'm gonna have to watch. I'm gonna have to play that back. Was Blissey already here? Anyway, Blissey's at an all-time high, 1150. Maybe I'm just going crazy. All right, let's just go into the promos, the Pokemon Center ETB promos. Snorlax, Screamtail, Teal Mask Ogerpon, and Iron Bundle. And then I wrote, "Do not buy off TCG player" in all caps. That was some advice I wanted to give you. So Snorlax is 198.30. That's an all-time high, but it was basically at this last week. Screamtail. Oh yeah, Screamtail. Over $50 all of a sudden for Screamtail. It's very good. That's an all-time high for Screamtail. And then we had Teal Mask Ogerpon and Iron Bundle. $37 for Teal Mask Ogerpon. Where the hell is Iron Bundle? Oh, $39. So those are all-time high for both those. I just want to tell you guys that these are lower volume, higher. These are going to shoot up in value overnight and move around and do weird things. And there, if you think for even 1 second, there is a Gem Mint 10 copy of a Pokemon Center stamp promo, like, being sold on TCG Player, you are crazy. If you want these promos, I strongly suggest waiting for a card show, because maybe, in general, card shows have terribly conditioned cards, but, okay, don't wait for a card show. All I'm saying is just don't buy these at their market value unless you see the card. If you see the card, buy it. If you can't see the card, just don't buy it. Just do not buy a Pokemon Center stamp promo unless you are sure it has a shot at 10. Because just, it won't. It won't have a shot at 10. It won't. Just like a lot of IRs online, they're not going to have a shot at 10. People like money. People know about this stuff, okay? Like, the whole getting lucky online without photos, you're just being very unrealistic, okay? Alright, so now it's Scarlet and Violet promos that aren't Pokemon Center promos. I wrote Van Gogh Pika is at an all-time high at $331 right there. Whoop-de-freaking-do. The Adventure Box Pikachu, this one, you know, from that big ugly yellow and blue box from GameStop and Target. Almost $13. Good for you. Adventure Surprise Box, whatever, Pika. And then the Milk Carton Iono that I talked about, I think, a couple weeks ago. It might be on page 2. Are you on page 2? Yeah, it's on page 2. Let's go and check that out, because it's up pretty big, actually, for a random Iono card. Yes, it is. Oh, random. There you are. $16.92. There it is. Bang, bang. I think it was at 13 or 14 last week. I forget, but that is the pink Milk Carton Iono. Alrighty, alrighty. And then we're going to get into some Sword and Shield promos. So the Vaporeons from the VMAX box, the V and the VMAX Vaporeon. Look at that. Very much separating his or herself from the Jolteon and the Flareon, because those two are still in the 40s. Vaporeon is $71, and then the Vaporeon V, which is down here, is a $48. So the V is a little more expensive than the other two Vs, whereas the VMAX, Vaporeon VMAX, is doing way better at the current moment than the Jolteon and Flareon. One thing I will say is these three cards all have a history of tracing each other. So don't be surprised if 2 weeks from now, Jolteon VMAX and Flareon VMAX are also $70. It just seems like one of them tends to always go up first. Galarian Articuno just doubled in price, trying to act like the Galarian Moltres. So the Crown Zenith 10 is $4.11 now. This was like $2.50 or $3 last week. And this is probably just a little vicarious hype off of the Galarian Moltres, which, by the way, that is down to $10. That's around where I thought it was going to settle at after the fiasco that it was involved with last week. Then we have a Sylveon 211. Am I even going to be able to find that? So there's a little cupcake, little crumpet Sylveon that a lot of you probably have a copy of because it's just a dirt cheap, worth nothing Sylveon. But now it's worth a few bucks. Let's see if I can find it. Where you at, Sylveon? So Sylveon is a little cute little cupcake. It has little... Come on, Sylveon. I'll give it one shot. If it's not on page 3, I'll just move on. And then I'll bring it up in a future video. Come on, Sylveon. Where you at? I feel like we're getting close. No. Alright, fine. There's a cute little $2 Sylveon that's $4. Which one? It's Sylveon 211. Should I just look for it real quick? Sylveon 211. 11. Oh, dang it. I don't think it's going to find it. Oh, I found it. Wait, no. No! That's not it. Although I do love... Alright, whatever. Who cares? Let's go. Let's go. It's X and Y promo time. Yep, X and Y promo time. Let's do it. So X and Y promos, Sun and Moon promos, Celebrations, Hidden Fates, Cosmic Eclipse team-up. I did no advanced research. So from here on out, we are going to react together. Part of the reason is I don't like bullshitting you guys, and I want to re-jog my memory on a lot of this too. The Blastoise EX, this Sun and Moon promo, or X and Y promo, pardon me. We're looking at X and Y promos and then Sun and Moon promos. This one has been on the rise for a while. Let's go and take a look at it. So again, the reason I don't cover these types of cards often is just because they're lower volume, not as popular. There's your 1 year. You see that low there of 55 all the way up to 86. And again, that was for Blastoise EX with your Vaporeon and your Gary in the background. Beautiful X and Y 122 promo. XY 122 Blastoise EX, all-time high. So here, this whole, we keep taking it off of best-selling thing is getting a little annoying. Okay, so Venusaur EX, XY 123, Blastoise EX 122, Charizard EX 121, Rayquaza EX, this XY promo, I believe. Well, it's slightly off its high. I own this card. It's literally right there, right there in a slab. The Shaman EX, this is a very popular promo. I have this card as well. I think I actually have a Gem Mint 10 copy of this card, which is saying something. This card is printed in a very, very OC kind of way. Top to bottom OC. Okay, so Shaman, you see there, 11 bucks all the way to 30 bucks. That is huge for this beautiful, absolutely stunningly gorgeous X and Y promo. What else? Shaman there, yep. Darkrai, the Meliota. Basically, all of these cards are up. I'm just highlighting, trying to find ones that are up big time just in the last week. It's basically Charizard EX, Blastoise EX, Venusaur EX, Rayquaza EX. Yeah. And I could keep going, but I won't. Let's go to Sun and Moon. Because I think we all love these promos more anyway. Can we be honest? Like, let's be honest. So Eevee and Snorlax GX, this is actually, I know for a fact that this is that all-time high. Umbreon and Darkrai, I believe, is very, very close, if not at its all-time high. Very, very close. Is it? Is that? Okay, there it is. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's there. I had a feeling. Yeah, because we looked at these like last week or 2 weeks ago also, I think. Looked at some of these. 46 for the stained glass birds. I think its all-time high is 48 last week. So Espeon Deoxys at $72. That is absolutely an all-time high. Mewtwo and Mew GX SM191 at $136. I know that's an all-time high. Eevee GX Derpy Eevee at $58. That's also an all-time high. These ones I do know a lot more off the top of my head. Like Garchomp and Giratina GX. Yeah, all-time high. And yeah. Yeah. Even my Pikachu SM162. This is like the poster child for my YouTube channel. This is a $12 card last month that is now $25. Even this card, my like banner for my YouTube channel, has doubled in price. That is crazy. Garchomp and Giratina GX. This is actually one of my favorite tag team promos, just straight up. I think I have a Gem Mint 10. I think I actually do have a Gem Mint 10. The card is so well centered. I also have 3 stained glass birds cards, I think might be Gem and 10. Oh, we are so almost done. Okay. So here we go. Celebrations, Hidden Fates, Cosmic Eclipse, and Team Up. So basically, we're just rechecking these prices here. 85 at Charizard. That's normal. Umbreon got pumped huge like a month or 2 ago, literally. So it's actually came down. 41 is not an all-time high for Umbreon, but it is double what it was 2 months ago. Mew Secret Rare at $36. This card's been in the 30s for 3 straight years. However, it hit a low of 20 about 2 months ago. Shining Magikarp, this was a $12, $11, $13 card. And then just in the last month, it went up to 28, 29. Now it is back down to 23. I did pick up a couple copies of this. 3 copies, around $20, $15, or $20. I think I have a shot at a 10. Mega Rayquaza EX, it's not up huge, but it is at its all-time high. Birthday Pikachu at $11. I believe that is pretty much its all-time high, but this Birthday Pikachu has been up and down in the past. It's a popular card. Sporadically popular card, the Birthday Pikachu. $9.82, almost $10 Blastoise, that's solid. Zekron's been up for a few weeks. The Mew EX at $8.20 has doubled in price over the last couple months. This was a $3 or $4 Mew card that is now almost a $9 card. Venusaur is struggling. Venusaur has always been $5, $6. It's only 7 still. Reshiram, a few weeks ago, I told you expect this to go up in price. I think it was $4 around then. Now it's coming up to $7. Yeah. Dark Gyarados still hanging down at that too. I keep wondering when the Garchomp and the Dark Gyarados are going to go up a little. Because I don't know why. I just thought maybe by now Dark Gyarados. Problem with a lot of these cards is there's just so many copies of them. Except for Shining Magikarp. But Shining Magikarp is like harder to find than even the Mew Secret Rare. I swear. Alright. We now in the Hidden of Fates. So the Charizard GX, I want to see what this Chase Charizard is at. Because I have a feeling. Yeah. So on the 1 year, it was 380. It's at its all-time high. There you go. This, oh my god. Can you imagine pulling this card back in the day? Back in the Hidden Fates day? How just epic that would be. Jeez. Like, this card was so iconic when Hidden Fates was iconic. Hidden Fates is still a lot of people, you know, it's not like... People don't talk about Hidden Fates like they used to. But it's still highly respected set. Cynthia, I wanted to buy this card for $75 a couple months ago. It's at $130 now. I can tell you that's up. Jesse and James. Let's see how far Jesse and James has fallen since its initial pump. That's not so bad. Got up to 62. 72. Okay, so at the end of January, a month ago, I hit 72. It's holding way too much value. This card should have tanked heavily, in my opinion. People are so influential. Like, the amount of people who don't know how cheap that card was, and now, moving forward, all everyone's going to think is Jesse and James was always an expensive full art trainer. Not even close to the case. So Jesse and James still doing good. Cynthia doing good. Moltres, Zapdos, Articuno, $20. It's not a big deal. Yeah, I mean... That's what's going on. I'm sitting here wondering why this set isn't hitting as hard as it should be. I'm literally like, dude, this is Hidden Fates. Why don't I feel... It's because I had it in best selling. Okay, so... Umbreon, there you are. My girl, Sylveon, there you are. The strangest Espeon. A lot of people love this Espeon. I'm not seeing near as much value in Hidden Fates as I thought I would see. I would have maybe thought the Mewtwo would be worth more by now. Like, this Mewtwo at only $60. This Sylveon at only $95. I'm way less impressed with Hidden Fates than I thought I would be. Just being honest. Because some of these cards used to feel like really iconic a few years ago. And, I mean, the Umbreon GX at 220 is probably fine. Whatever, let's just move on. So there you go. This set, however, Cosmic Eclipse, sheesh. So $240 for the Rose of Full Art, incredible. We need to look at Reshiram Zekrom, because this could have had a push lately. For obvious reasons. On the 1 month. If I can get there. God, the volume bars are so weird. 170. So it's up 30% on the 1 month. Let's zoom way out here for a sec. $100 in September, $100 in October, even less. $100. Okay, so around mid-November was the last time you can get this for $100. And now it's $230. So 2.5 months ago, this beautiful banger from one of the coolest sets ever was a $100 bill. And now it's $230. That is so not surprising. This is like the least surprising thing I'm discovering in these mid-modern sets. Solgaleo and Lunala GX, so good. The ADP, let's check out ADP real quick, because I want to see how that's been going lately. We're going to go to the 1 year for ADP. So ADP hit a 1 year low of 160 in November, right around the same time ends Reshiram, yeah. So getting Cosmic Eclipse bangers was at its peak November of last year, apparently. Because now we're up to 210 from a low of 150 for the ADP. This card, oh man, no, this card doesn't get brought up a lot, but whenever it does get brought up, people make such a big deal about it and how cool it is. Blastoise and Piplup at $167. I don't remember Blastoise and Piplup being worth that much. Let's take a look here. Blastoise and Piplup. Okay, so it was about $100. Blastoise and Piplup, $170. Let's look at the 1 month. From 150 to 170. Okay. I guess I didn't give Blastoise and Piplup enough credit. Alright. Holy crap, we only have one more set. I just want to look through here one more time. So the regular Reshiram and Zekrom GX. Let's look at that. Because there's a bunch of them. Because there's this one too, which is just the regular GX. And this, let's see the 1 month on this one. From 57 up to 77. Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious why this is getting a little bit of a tax recently. And then we're going to look at the rainbow. I want to look at the rainbow, because that one's actually really cool looking too for a rainbow. Like, this is one of the cooler looking rainbows. Reshiram and Zekrom GX tag team. Sheesh, from Cosmic Eclipse. Look at that outline on that Reshi. Damn, I might have to get this card. Alright, let's look. So, yeah, $58 up to $88 on the 1 month. It's not too bad. 78 to 88, that's only $10. I love it, man. Oh, God. Dude, Sun and Moon. I've always loved Sun and Moon so much. Okay, alright, last one. Team Up! Look at Team Up real quick, and then we were finally done. I have no idea how long we've been going. This will be a surprise to me. Yikers. So, Latias and Latios, the Sun and Moon's Moonbryon. I'm going to pull the 1 year out. I like to call this card, cards like this, cards like Moonbryon, cards like Van Gogh Pikachu, cards like First Edition base set Charizard, they go up when the hobby itself goes up. They go down when the hobby itself goes down. So if you see Latias and Latios looking like that, that might as well be what the sediment of the Pokemon hobby is, in my opinion. Yeah, because you need big buyers, you need big stuff to happen to move cards like this. And you need a lot of popularity, and then so their price will usually match the popularity, I've noticed. Alright, let's go back. So, I already know Magikarp and Wailord is up huge, 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 huge. Okay, so the Gengar and Mimikyu we definitely are going to look at, because this is $500 freaking dollars, dude. What the hell? But it has been pumped for a while, because it was even crazy when this card was $250, and that was a year ago. And then, so around November it shot up 300. This card was exploding well before the bubble. This card was already going up big time. Man, that card in the Gym at 10 slab would be insane. 530. Sheesh. Then also we're going to look at Magikarp and Wailord, and then maybe I'll look at one or two more. But maybe not, and then we'll be done. So Magikarp and Wailord. Might look at Erica's hospitality real quick. So on the 1 year, Magikarp and Wailord hit a low. Its low on the 1 year was 250. Man, I guess we should be happy it's only gone up $100, right? I expected its low to be like 150. 250 was the low. 350 the high. Damn, dude. 250 was the best you could have got. Latias and Latios, Rainbow Rare, that's probably up. 115, that doesn't look right. Sabrina's Suggestion was $80 just a couple months ago. Let me look at Sabrina's Suggestion real quick. Wasn't it? I thought it was. Maybe it was even longer ago that I thought it was 80 bucks. Alright, whatever, but sheesh. Huh. Alright, doing good, doing good. I could have swore it was 80. Maybe I was thinking of another trainer. Yo, look at this Jasmine Full Art. How much does this Jasmine Full Art look like our Scarlet and Violet Jasmine Full Art? In a way. Cling Clanks in the back. Cling Clang. This card's sick. I love this card. Holy crap. And it's down. Down to 7. Huh. Not a lot of price. Not a lot of anything with Jasmine. Jasmine might be a play. Some of these Sun and Moon trainers that are reappearing now. Look at Pikachu and Zekrom. Look at this. How cool would that look in a slab? Jesus. We're just having fun. This is extra credit. I'm just hanging out with you guys looking at cards at this point. Alright, so 34 to 50. That's nothing. This card's... Here's a card completely unaffected by the current bubble that you can still get for just as good a deal as you could have last year. You know what I mean? So the illustration rares, the stuff that's hot, is hot. But there's still so many cool mid-modern and vintage cards that even if you buy them now in the middle of the bubble, you're not going to get just totally, you know, murdered over. Because that looks so cool. Alright, I think I'm done. Imagine getting Dana, Evelyn, Nita, and Morgan all 4 in a row in like sequential PSA 10 slabs. That would be cool. Alright, I think we've done enough. Yes? Alright, I'm done. Seriously, oh my god, if you actually made it all the way to the end of this video, seriously guys, thank you very much. Means a lot to me. I know this is more long form content at this point where you just turn me on and you listen to me talk for an hour plus about Pokemon cards. But yeah, I appreciate it a lot. And yeah, I'm just surviving along with all of you, you know, trying to figure out how we're going to make it 1 week at a time. But I will say, a month or two ago, I've made a lot of content related to big corporations, from Costco to, you know, the Pokemon Corporation themselves, certain online retailers, needing to do a lot of little things here and there to make the hobby better. And we're already seeing it from Costco shutting stuff down to the Pokemon Center vending machines getting all this loitering, you know, the Pokemon vending machines and all the new stuff they're doing with those vending machines is exactly what I was talking about when I said these companies just need to come up with new innovative ways to combat the scalping, ways that they hadn't ever thought of before. They get paid a lot of money. There's a lot of smart people that work at these companies, and things like the no loitering, select randomized items available in vending machines, all that kind of stuff prevents the vending machine pirates and a million other things. Like, people aren't going to get bowled over at Costco anymore for a 151 Blooming Waters thing. All this stuff is stuff that just slowly came with time, and these things are going to add up, and it's what's going to make the hobby go back to normal here in a little bit or whatever. You know what I'm saying? All right, see you guys on the next one. Deuces.